Hey everybody, Mark from Haunted Auckland and Paranormal New Zealand here. I wanted to introduce to you a good friend of mine over in the UK. Her name's Lorien Jones. She runs a website and it's a fantastic resource called The Ghost Book. About the site, about ghosts, about life in the UK. Are you there, Lorien? Are you there? Gotcha.
All these options. I'll unmute myself and we'll be there.
How are you?
Good, thanks. It's good to see you.
Are you coping well with the lockdown?
My sanity is intact, just about. Yeah. I mean, we're doing all right. I've got two little ones at home with me who are 4 and 7. So, become a homeschool teacher. It's my new profession. But yeah, it's going all right.
Good. Not too stressful.
Doing all right. My partner's still working. Sorry, go on.
Not too stressful for you?
No, we're doing the alphabet and numbers and times tables and pollination process right now. So yeah, too difficult. Luckily, I'm not like. Yeah. How about you? Doing all right?
I'm having to work. Apparently, my workplace found a loophole in the system and decided that we were essential. So now we're essential workers now. So I don't know.
That's about right. What do you do?
I work for a printing company, and it's not really essential work, but yeah, it's all right. At least the bill's getting paid, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind.
I suppose the boredom keeps your boredom at bay, doesn't it?
Well, the problem is that I've got so many things that I do outside of work, and this is a perfect time for me to do them. But I'm having to work.
Yeah.
So,
I know that feeling.
Yeah. So it's a bit of a hindrance having to go into work at the moment, but yeah. While everybody else is sleeping in and lounging around. So anyway, Lauren, I thought I'd get in touch with you and sort of spread your name around this country. So I hear you have ties. You have ties to New Zealand.
Yeah, thank you.
You have a few connections.
Yeah, I've visited twice. Friends of mine, they were like second parents really. I worked for them over here and then they decided to emigrate over there. So I lived with them for 3 months back in 2007. I went out there, helped them set up their business. And then I came back, travelled through Thailand, doing all that. I met my partner now, but he'd continued travelling with his friends. So he was in New Zealand. I came home, got a night shift job in Tesco's, saved up, and then met him back out there. So then we travelled. So I got to see a lot more of it that way. Met back up with my friends who were over there. Stayed with them a bit. So yeah, it's like a second home to me. It feels like.
I'm sure it's changed a lot.
I've been over.
Yeah, I'm sure it's changed a lot.
I bet. Yeah.
Yeah. They're forever ripping down old historical buildings and putting up apartment blocks and. Yeah. It's quite nasty.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Sounds like
Yeah. Let's talk about your project. You are the creator, writer, content creator of the Ghost Book. And I've found that a huge resource and very helpful to myself for holidays when I'm going on holiday.
Oh, it's good to hear.
I refer to your site, and I've also bought quite a few books from checking out your site, so it's been very helpful.
Oh, good.
So I'm sure it's been helpful to me
that's good.
there as well. So I wanted to give it a plug, and I wanted to let people know about it because it's been helpful to me as a tourist.
Yeah.
And as a ghost hunter that travels around a lot, it's been very helpful. So we're planning to come back next year. We were planning to come this year, but it didn't happen with the lockdowns.
Yeah, scuppered. Yeah.
Yeah, so we couldn't do it. So next year we're definitely coming back over. So I'll let you know the dates and times, and I'll be looking to explore a few places. We love Scotland. We love the UK. And so we've been travelling there every year, just coming over and just driving. It's incredible.
You make a beeline for Scotland when you come over, don't you?
We do. We sort of start at London, make our way up, and I mean, last time I spent the night at the Ancient Ram Inn and places like that, which are always dreamed about staying in. So,
how did you find the Ramen? I haven't been there yet.
very peaceful, actually, very nice. It was just a very relaxed environment. I was there by myself, and it was just so quiet. There was no traffic outside, and there was a few scuffling sounds and scrapes and bangs, but they don't seem to affect me anymore. I just sort of
Nothing to send you screaming.
not yet. No, I didn't. I wasn't. It was a bit. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. More for the peace and quiet, and just actually being there, just soaking up that history that's in there. So,
I know it's tricky because for me, like having all these places on my doorstep, there's so many that have got such a reputation now. And part of me, I mean, all the places I've been are lower key. So the ones that are the big places, like, you know, East Drive as well, up in Pontefract in Yorkshire, the Poltergeist house. And I haven't been there either. I kind of just, and they'll shut them down, and I'll say, I should have gone. Why didn't I go and I had the chance?
Yeah, well, Pontefract's a good one because it's so small. It's a very small, self-contained little place. So it's easy to investigate.
Yeah.
You don't need too much equipment, so it's a good one for smaller teams or just individuals, really. But I enjoyed it there. I enjoyed my time there. So tell us about the Ghost Book and all that. I mean, it's a huge resource. It covers haunted locations, books, movies. You know, it's the full resource.
Yeah.
And I can see it growing every time I look at it. There's extra pages, and it's forever growing. So.
That'll be on hold for a little while because I get no time to myself right now. But I've got pages and pages of research that I need to type up. I've got tons more places I need to research because I advertise events as well. So I used to do it that I would just advertise the events on behalf of companies who are running the events. I don't run the events myself. And I used to just advertise them, and the links would be a direct link through to the other person's booking page, and that would be that. But now I've started selling tickets as well. Not as well, instead of. So it gives me a chance to earn a bit more money and gives me more of a drive to push it. The trouble is, I think, because a lot of people come to use that, they don't really know that there's a lot of other stuff on the site, and I've found that now my numbers in viewers have really dropped, obviously because no one's looking to buy tickets to events right now. So I'm really trying to push the bit that it was essentially what it was all supposed to be about, was writing about the haunted places so you can go and read about them all. And it all started because, I mean, I was working in retail at the time when I became pregnant with my eldest daughter. She's 7 now, and I was working Christmas Eve till 8 o'clock at night when I was pregnant, and then they wanted me back in on Boxing Day, and I said stick it, I'm not coming back in on Boxing Day. And I went back after Christmas, and we went and visited friends in some family down in Devon, but I just thought I don't want that to be my life, and I've got kids, you know, all mum's at work all the time. I know some people have to do that. I didn't want it to be that way, so I thought, I'll set up this, what can I do that I love? And writing about haunted places, it was just obvious. But what really drove me was that, you know, when you're reading about haunted places, and I don't know if it's the same over there, but there's so many here where now you can't go in, it's a private residence, or now it's been knocked down, it's not there anymore. And I thought, well, it's all very well telling the story, but I want to go to these places. I want to be able to visit them. And that was the real drive to start the Ghost Book. It was to write about haunted places where you, if you wanted to read about it, you could then go and see it, or, you know, get in there. And so that was kind of the drive that started it all for me.
Well, I have to say, that whole site, it completely changed our itinerary. The first time I came to the UK, we had a whole list of all the haunted places I wanted to check out and stay at. And then I checked out your site and I found all these more other ones which looked way more interesting. So I was crossing my itinerary.
It's always a smaller one.
And finding the other ones, So it was really good. And then
it's so nice to hear.
The ones I couldn't visit for the first time, I went on the second time. And then last year I went and grabbed a few more places. Yeah. And I wouldn't have known about these places.
Yeah.
Because all we've got is Google, and we can type in, you know, haunted Scotland, and what comes up is what we've got. But I noticed you've got a few in there which
Yeah.
haven't been widely publicised. So it was good. Like the one you did one recently.
Partly, part of that's down to.
You did one recently. You did one recently. You posted, and I commented on it, but I hadn't heard of it. It was the was it the Hell Hill? Or Hell House.
The Hill House.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued about that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. Now. I mean, we
widely publicised.
No. And I mean, we go there. I take the girls. Well, me and my partner, we take the girls with friends. We have relaxing weekends there. We go. I'm just gonna scooch something off my screen. We go on events with friends who are, paranormal events. It's like it's an all-rounder. It's a home from home now, and it's a beautiful place. The scenery. You're up on a hill on the Wye Valley, so you're just looking over the views. It's worth going, without the ghosts, but when you get one thrown in, it's all the better.
So what would you like? I mean, you've done quite a few investigations yourself. What would you consider so far from the places you've been to? What would you consider worthwhile going to and visiting? What would you consider the most haunted out of the ones you've been to so far?
Well, it's quite funny, to be honest, because I thought you might mention this, and I was thinking about it, and I feel like I've got a little bit of a jinx on my favourite places, because my number one, which was the first place I ever investigated, was you might have heard of Alton Towers theme park we have over here.
No.
It's like the go-to theme park in England.
Oh, okay.
It's one of the biggest. But in the middle of the grounds is a big old. It's not as old as Gothic, but it's in the style. Big, beautiful old ruined house. And one of the rides is built into part of the house, which tells the story of the cursed oak, which was an old oak tree, which one of the Earls of Shrewsbury, I forget which one, the 7th maybe, he was travelling along one night, and this old hag stopped him and asked him for some money, and he refused and told her to get out of his way. And she said that I'm going to place a curse on this tree, and every time a branch falls from the tree, one of your family members will die. So he poo-pooed the idea, wasn't having any of it. And then a freak storm happened. Sure enough, lightning struck the tree, a branch fell off, and one of his family members died. So he had the whole tree chained so that no more branches could ever fall off. So that tree is near Alton Towers. So that's the story that they play on, and obviously the Earl lived in Alton Towers house. That's the story that they play on in this hex ride. But a lot of people have said when they've been queuing to go on the ride, they've had weird things happen. So that's only a little bit this house, but this massive, massive house, they used to allow ghost hunts there. And like I say, it was the first one I ever went on, and the activity there is incredible. It's so haunted. And I think I managed 5 or 6 investigations there over the years. And I was lucky enough to attend the very last one that they ever did, which was, I think, 2017 maybe. They called it a day there. And so that's sad, because that would be my number one. And then the second one was an old factory called The Block. I don't know what its proper name was, but that was the nickname it was given, The Block. And 3 times I investigated that one in a very short space of time. The activity was insane. Like, that's probably the most haunted, I'd say, for having so much activity in the short spaces of time. And then it's been turned into flats. So
wow,
good luck to whoever's living in there right now, because they must be having a hairy time of it. But
what kind of activity are you talking about?
Oh, constant noises, shadows. We've had photos taken by things of, like, you can see a figure in the photo. There's one of me, a friend took, and you can see a shadow of a guy with like a trilby hat on behind me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to think now. It was a big factory, but they had, if you can imagine, lots of boarded off areas, like substitute walls basically, so that it was used for like airsoft, like shooting each other, target practice kind of thing.
Yeah.
So there was these walls to run around and things hanging and stuff. And we were sitting one time and a few of my friends had their back to the wall, and there was the loudest bang. It was as if someone had booted the cardboard. So we all jumped up, ran around, tried to look, nobody was there. And I say cardboard, it wasn't cardboard, it was like MDF, like plywood. So we were like playing with the wall to see if it kind of bowed, to see if them leaning on it just made it kind of buckle, because it was that loud a noise. It didn't budge. And then same time we were sitting there, and all over the floor were these little BB balls that glow in the dark. And we could hear this tap, 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 tapping noise. And it was one of these balls bouncing as if someone was dribbling a basketball. And I'm talking, the size, they're like 3 mil across. And it was as if it was being dribbled by a tiny finger. It was just, just bouncing. Weirdest stuff, yeah. And I went to the toilet in there. Went to the toilet. There was just a single little cubicle. And I've always got lip balm in my pockets, in my bag, everywhere. I'm always using lip balm. And I was sitting on the toilet. There was only one cubicle, building. There was no other bits, brick walls around me. And I had this really loud crack on the floor next to me. Just assumed my lip balm had fallen out of my pocket. Bent down, and it was a little ball that had bounced, and it was just coming to rest. I just seen it doing and then stop. Oh, I can't even have a wee in peace in this place. Real-time voices. About 6 of us, we all stood in a circle, and we all just had this. We all looked around. It was none of us. It's just incredible, that place. And now, like I say, that's gone. So
jealous.
No more than me.
That's good. I see you've also got equipment. You've got paranormal equipment on your page on the site as well. Some interesting items there. I might have to contact the people that you're. Are you sponsoring them or something? Or
infrared.
Yeah.
No, well, they're associates. The guy Andy Infrareddy. Pardon me. It's infrareddy.co.uk. I ordered something before Christmas, and he has a cut-off period, so he'll sell things for a certain time of the month until he reaches his quota, and then it's reserved for the next month. And I was looking for something for Christmas, and he said, "Don't worry, I'll sort you out." And just really, really lovely guy, excellent customer service. Recently, I was going to Hill House, and typical me, last minute Larry, wanted to order something, and I was worried it wouldn't get to me in time, so I asked if he could post it there for me. Not a problem. I got there it was waiting for me when I arrived.
Great.
But yeah, he sells things like the run-of-the-mill. I'm trying to think off the top of my head what is run-of-the-mill on his site now, because he designs and develops a lot of things himself. So he'll do music boxes that are like motion censored, so they'll start playing. He's got toy cars that are like trigger objects. If they move, the lights on the top of the police car will flash, and he does a lot of things like that. So it's very
different,
worth looking for interest. Not your normal kind of things.
Yeah, because I'm right at the trigger objects. I love trigger objects. I'm always coming up with new ideas for trigger objects. So anybody that creates trigger objects has got my attention. He's all over it. Yeah, that's great. I'll have to make contact. So talking of gadgets, I'm always asking other researchers and investigators out there, what would you consider the most overrated piece of equipment that people use these days? Overrated as pointless, I don't know, just...
Yeah.
I can think of a few, but...
Yeah. I can think of a few. I was trying to think of the one For me, I mean, I've never been a gadget girl, really. I like, you go with your senses, you see what's around you. But the longer I've been doing this, getting on for 15 years now, you do want to catch a bit. You've had all the experiences, you want to get a bit of evidence. So I'm kind of becoming a bit more of a gadget girl, but I don't know. I've got a friend, Jane, she lives down in Cornwall. She runs Paranormal Voice, and she did a big investigation into spirit boxes because she used to use them religiously, and then she got to the point where she said, "You know what? I think this is just like your brain is making you hear what you want to hear, because you can provide one piece of evidence and you can have 6 different, you know, opinions on what that actually says. So she kind of dismissed the spirit boxes now, and I totally get where she's coming from. But a friend had a counter argument. He said the SB11 does a reverse sweep. So I think if you've got something on a high-speed reverse sweep and you're picking up words, that interests me.
Does it make the words backwards?
Yeah, I think no, they come through, I think. Don't quote me on that. I think they come through the right way.
Yes, if it's sweeping backwards, it's still going to be the right way around. Yeah, so it's, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm sure you hear the real time the right way. But for me, what really like grates on me is the old school table tipping, human pendulum, all these kind of things. A Ouija board. Now, I've used an Ouija board, but I would only now use one with people I completely trust, because I'm an event. I've witnessed so many people. I just think dowsing rods, all these kind of things that people put so much time into. I just think you can't. Like that. I think that's my bugbear more than gadgets.
Well, we use Ouija boards and table tipping just more as an entertainment when we do a public event.
Yeah.
But we do them to sort of show how the mind can work over the body. And I mean, there's always one person that's going to push that planchette. There's always one person that wants it to say yes, that's going to push it. There's always one person that's going to push harder on that table so that it tips. It's just the way it is. But we're doing our best to educate people on Ouija boards and the myths surrounding it. Also spirit boxes and orbs and all those kinds of things. I mean, those are all things that, you know, I learned about orbs at an early age, you know, just with messing around with cameras. You know, it becomes obvious what they are. And for a good 30 years, I've been asking people tell me, you know, I see orbs all the time, and I've got photographs and videos of orbs, and I can send them to you. I'm like, well, send them to me. I want to see a real spirit orb, but they never do. Nobody ever comes through with an actual spirit orb video, and I wish they would send it to me if they have one.
No.
You know, so I don't know. I'm not really an orb guy myself, but I know a lot of people are, so I respect that and leave them to their own thing. What haunted cases in history, has there been one that sort of stood out to you that you've really been intrigued about? Famous cases?
It's funny because, I mean, I love to dig deep and research the places, and I know a lot of people don't like to know that, the history and things. And for my personal, you know, beliefs, I think if you're going into somewhere and someone's haunting there, if you use their name, if I was haunting somewhere and somebody spoke my name, I'd be much more inclined to respond to them and to retaliate, you know. But I know for a lot of people don't like to know anything about places they go into. I'm trying to think.
There must be one haunting that has stood out to you that you've got excited about, one that you've read about and you thought, wow, that's an amazing story. For me, was the Enfield haunting, the Enfield Poltergeist.
Right.
That's one case that's really stood out to me, and I've got many books about it, and I've been intrigued about it for years. And I've been to Enfield, and I've seen the house, and haven't been inside, but I've been there and I've stood right next to it, and, you know. But that's one case that's always intrigued me. Yeah, the Infield.
Yeah, I think over here, the trouble is, I mean, I don't have time, because I'm trying to do such a broad level of research across my site, you know, covering the whole of the UK, and we've got a lot of places. I try to do accurate research, but I don't have the time to go into it in too much depth. And you hear some stories, and then I think a lot of teams that do not a lot of teams, some of the teams will play on stories that you can later find out aren't true, and they're fabricated. So for me, I don't think there's anywhere particularly that a particular haunting as such, like a story, because there's always that question in the back of your mind, how much is fabricated. For me, it's more the feel of a place. Like at the minute, I find myself really drawn to World War II sites, airfields, and I mean, there's a lovely one here. It's got the old control tower and things. Had some amazing activity there. And there's another place, Staffordshire, Anzio Army Camp, and it's just a vast place full of buildings, and it's that kind of feel that draws me into a place more. I like the dark places that no one really goes to very much, and you know, that kind of the feel of a place, kind of, and its history with regards to like what actually happened there. Just general, the people, like, you know, the soldiers and the busyness and the severity of what was going on, you know, during the war, and the intense emotions that would have been there. Prisons as well. Places like that kind of pull me in rather than particular stories, I think.
Yeah. Okay. And with all the places that you've been to and all the time that you've spent sort of interacting or just being there with the ghosts, have you come to any sort of conclusion in your time about what they might be? Like, are you a fan of the residual haunting side of things, or the intelligent haunting, or do you have an idea about what ghosts might be?
I mean, my dad is very much into his UFOs, loves it all, and he watches loads of programs, and he tries to pull me over to the side that spirits are on a parallel universe.
Right.
Which I've heard a lot of people say, you know, and I'm like, they're not, they're dead people. I like it to be, in my head, it's spooky that way, and I like to keep it spooky, because that's what pulls you in, isn't it? But I've listened to Richard Felix, a historian we have over here. He used to work on the TV show Most Haunted.
Yes.
He does a lot of talks and things, and he has strong opinions on the stone tape theory, and listening to him talk, it's just, you can't not believe it. So I think residual energy, I think there's a lot of that. I mean, I don't know what percentage, I guess I'd say maybe 60-70% from where I've been and things, and listening to other people's stories and things. But I don't know, I've had too many encounters with mediums who have been so specific that I do think there's got to be life after death, and these spirits that we're interacting with, I mean, I don't know whether they'd be grounded. I don't like to think of spirits being grounded, but then sometimes you think, why would you choose to be in these places? So maybe some of them are, but yeah, I do think it's as the kids coming back from their jaunt over the park, I do think it's residual a lot, and I just think it's spirits of people who have passed on. That's what I like to think. I'm sticking with that no matter what my dad says.
Yeah, that's right. I've often wondered why ghosts would hang around cemeteries. I mean, they're often seen in cemeteries.
Yeah.
Apparently. Why would you hang around a cemetery? Wouldn't you prefer to stay in a place that you loved to be in? But then you hear of stories of people that die overseas. They'll be on holiday, they'll die, yet they'll be seen back in their hometown. How do they get back home?
Yeah, you know, I wonder what the rule is on who gets grounded and who gets allowed to travel.
Yeah, I mean, do they jump back on a plane?
Somewhere.
Yeah, do they jump back on a plane and fly home? I mean, how does it happen? How does it work?
Yeah.
I really don't know. So there's a lot of questions there, and I mean, for me personally, I've got.
I wonder if it's one of those ones we'll never know till we get there.
Well, yeah, and then we've got to try and figure out how to communicate with these paranormal investigators. You know, when we get up there.
Yeah. What gadget have they got now? I've got to try and fathom out.
Yeah. Well, I've often found it really quite strange how you'll have all these paranormal investigators with EMF meters and blinking flashy light gadgets and stuff like this, and they'll basically tell the ghost, "Can you make the lights flash on this gadget?" Well, how is that 150-year-old ghost going to know how to operate that gadget?
Yeah.
What if they don't even speak the language?
That gets me all the time. Or can you like? Yeah. What they call the device's name? Can you go and touch the K2? I'm like, come on, let's wind it back a bit here.
K2 go into the green. Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, these people are.
I always think as well, like, Yeah, these people from like maybe 200 years ago, how scary are these flashing lights going to look to them? They're not going to go near those. I wouldn't if it was something I didn't have a clue what it was.
Yeah.
Go and touch that. No.
Can you imagine what it's going to be like in another 100 years when we're all dead, and if we become ghosts, and there are paranormal investigators researching us, and they're throwing all these amazing gadgets in front of us, and we have no idea what those gadgets are going to do. I mean,
they'll probably just be sucking us all out with proton packs, won't they? Get in there. Gone. Real Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's really cool. So I'm going to be coming over anyway in next year. So we're going to hang out. Okay, we'll have to make sure we hang out. And,
yeah, definitely.
You can show me a location, or we'll organise a ghost tour or something like that. So I'll let you know a date.
Did you, when you were over, did you go to the Four Crosses?
No.
In Cannock?
I had it written on my list, and by the time I remembered, we'd sort of gone way past that, and it was too late. And because I had so many things on my list. I have this huge big bucket list which I print out, and it's just pages of places. So it's a matter of remembering when we go past that through that area. There was a couple of murder houses.
We'll have to plan you a proper route.
Yeah, I have to put them on a map somehow. And I'm pretty old school. I'm still using maps. Yeah. So yeah. Well, that's great. Okay, Lorien. Well, I'm gonna let you go now. It's getting quite late here actually. All right. Well, lovely talking to you.
I thought if we did it the other way round. Yeah, and you.
Yeah, and I'll see you. You know, I'll touch base with you. You know, in the new year, and we'll see if we can hook something up and investigate something together.
Yeah, definitely. We look forward to it. And I'll get over to you sometime too.
Yes, I'll show you some places. Are there any places in your area where you live? Do you have any haunted locations there?
Yeah, there's some amazing ones, but I mean, a lot of them are English Heritage or National Trust, which are charities that look after a big chunk of our historic homes over here. Right. And they're not very ghost friendly. I was due to start working at one in March as a volunteer, just like maintenance, you know. So excited, and then obviously that's all shut down for now, so goodness knows when I'll get back there. But yeah, there's a lot around.
Right, cool. I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait. Anyway, Lorien, lovely talking to you. What's your website's address?
Thank you for inviting me.
What's your website?
www.theghostbook.co.uk.
Cool. All right then, I'll put that on the page, and we'll talk soon, eh?
Yeah, take care.
Thanks a lot. Talk soon.
Bye.
Bye. See ya.